Greetings, my fellow sci-fighters. This is Super Sci-Fi Dude, and today, I'm just making this little video mostly to be something for my Discord server. For those of you who may not know, I've been working on a passion project of mine since I was 18 called the Sci-Fighters. It's my take on the teenage superhero genre, and I've made some amazing friends who have helped me out with it so far. We haven't really gotten it off the ground yet. We haven't really fully ironed out everything, but we're working on it and we are very passionate about it. Basically, what this video is a reminder of just what kind of sentiments we're trying to have towards the show. So it features these words directly from Godzilla Mendoza and Shady Durags. So I'm not claiming their videos. I'm not trying to make any sort of gain off of them. I'm just having them here as like words of wisdom towards our show. So if either of you have a problem with that, Shady Durags, Godzilla Mendoza, I will take down this video. But if you are fine with me having this as a reminder to me and my friends of just how much effort we should be trying to put into our indie show, how much effort we want to put into our indie show, then I would greatly appreciate it. Anyways, so here's the words from them.
It would move me to tears if I still had tears to shed.
Just because it's aimed at kids doesn't mean it needs to be mindless, unfunny noise that treats the audience like they're stupid. The best media for kids is the stuff that treats them with dignity and respects them enough to know that they can handle more mature themes if it's presented in the right way, and tries to open their minds to the worlds around them. You can have children's media with deep, likable characters, character arcs with growth and development, well-written comedy, mature concepts.
When you're homeless, people look right through you. It's like you're not even there.
Yeah, I've been guilty of that.
Unique art design, complex stories.
You're going to kill me so that Superman can't.
The Justice League's reputation will survive my actions, and Superman's legacy will remain intact.
Interesting plan.
Moral dilemmas, important life lessons, and real-world issues that are happening right outside your window.
The plague has people frightened. They're looking for someone to blame. We're an easy target.
Only scientific inquiry can overcome the hysteria that's gripping the country.
Or at the very least, interesting and well thought out world building in creative settings. It's the best feeling when you can return to that same media as an adult and still find it enjoyable or even appreciate it from a totally new perspective now that you're older and viewing it from a different lens than you did as a child.
As a kid, I used to watch you with my father. The Great Ghost was my hero. So it wasn't all for nothing.
You're re-experiencing it as a whole new person now. So it's like learning to love it all over again for the qualities it had that made it timeless.
Blink of an eye. In the end, what matters isn't how long we've lived, but how fully we've lived. The good we've done, the friends we've made, the love we shared along the way.
Until we meet again, old friend.
Not every show needs to be like that, bro.
What, you mean good? Well, no, but I expect them to at least try. And the MCU and Star Wars are meant for children, but we talk about those with deadly levels of importance because they're live action instead of animated. Storytelling isn't given a free pass to be low effort depending on its target audience. I hold these more recent shows to much higher standards than the older ones because a precedent has been set that these shows can and should be better. If you know these series can have all these things, then why shouldn't they? You're settling for less. Kids aren't stupid and have no standards. They deserve good shows too. You can't just wave off any legitimate criticism with that.
This Patriot Act is the epitome of one of my common talking points.
Back in my day, superheroes were just good people with superpowers. And we were thankful.
And here, not only do we get to see those types of personalities, but the episode stresses that they are what matter, not superpowers nor fame, which all of these particular heroes lack.
I'm afraid being famous isn't the same as being a true hero.
for a true hero isn't measured by the size of his strength, but by the strength of his heart.
The heroism displayed here wasn't just apparent for superheroes when I was a kid, it was expected. But then, something happened in the 2010s. We started seeing things like Superman destroying a guy's livelihood because he was a jerk, Captain Marvel wrecking property to prove a point and be funny, and literally everything in She-Hulk. Too often, instead of the Good Samaritan, we got people willing to abuse their powers. And don't get me wrong, that's always existed, even in the superhero-dom. Shoot, sometimes it's a major part of the story. But it seemed to become a regular occurrence that we were supposed to act like this bad behavior wasn't shameful. Or worse, that it was praiseworthy. Look, I'm not asking that every superhero be lawful good. Some heroes should be a little grittier than others. Wolverine isn't exactly known as righteous, but the standard of superheroes has clearly changed from what it used to be. And honestly, it's not just the superpowered ones. All types of heroes in media seem to be going in this direction. Come on, Shady. All fictional characters are supposed to have flaws, even heroes. We can't relate to a bunch of Mary Sues. I'm sorry, I wasn't aware that Mary Sues look like this. A reminder, the heroes in this episode straight up lost. Like, it's not even a debate. They had to be rescued by an old lady and children. Yet despite them being losers, I and others highly enjoy watching them stand their ground. Shining Knight was outclassed, his allies defeated and his body tired. But when given the opportunity to surrender, he said, "You first, I've got people to protect." I might not be seeing myself on the screen, but I am seeing a representation of the me I'd like to become. Unfortunately, more and more writers of modern heroes seem to stray from this concept and instead agree with Eiling. All you have to do is give a regular person superpowers, and no matter what their personality is, the audience should just love them and cheer for everything they do. Well, newsflash.
Most people are jerks already, and it's not like giving a jerk a gun and telling him it's okay to kill people suddenly turns that jerk into a hero.
Yes, people who like superheroes like superpowers. You'll probably win over a lot of children that way. But if you want dedicated fans, you gotta give them something deeper to come back to. I felt more for Sir Justin in this one episode of Justice League where he isn't even the protagonist than I did for Jennifer Walters during the entirety of She-Hulk Attorney at Law.
I was wondering if you would agree to the terms of our cease and desist.
Absolutely. Seriously, I freaking hate that show. Whenever I angrily talk about modern heroes, I'm thinking of She-Hulk. Look, you can create jerks that are capable of doing incredible feats, and yeah, that'll technically make them super. But the ones that inspire their audiences to stand for what's right and be better versions of themselves, those are the ones that many will be calling heroes. I have a personal story I want to share. When I was growing up, I believed in following all rules, no exceptions. It was actually to a point where it became a big problem. I would make bad decisions in my life because I was trying so hard to follow rules. It even got to the point where my parents were telling me that I was too obsessed with rule following. Imagine that. You follow the rules so blindly that your parents, of all people, have to tell you to reconsider this mentality. However, no matter what was said to me or who said it, I felt that all rules had to be followed. Then one day, I picked up this comic, one I still own by the way, called Public Enemies. It's about how Lex Luthor is president and because of his crazy orders, Superman and Batman become outlaws. In the story, there's a scene where Batman lectures Captain Atom about how following orders doesn't determine what the right thing to do is, but situations do, and you have to act accordingly in those situations. It's thanks to Public Enemies, a comic book about superheroes, that an important lesson so many others tried to teach me, a lesson I still use to this day, was finally able to sink in. That is one example of many ways superheroes and comics changed my outlook on life. I wanted to talk about Legends because I believe it's the best portrayal of how I, and many others, view superheroes.
Why should I feel like this? I mean, they weren't even real.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. The reason people get hung up on fictional characters is because while they may not be real, they represent something that is. John didn't get to meet his actual heroes, but he saw a representation of what they stood for, which is what he valued from them, and that's why he's feeling the way he does. That's how I feel about the superheroes I grew up with.
Those comics taught me what it meant to be a hero. Without them, well, maybe I wouldn't have this ring today.
To be honest, I know it's not a one-to-one comparison. The fake Justice Guild actually had sentience, so that makes them more real than actual fictional characters, but the metaphor is still there. Getting back to the point, however, there is no actual Superman, but truth, justice, and the American way. Those do exist, and sometimes a Superman helps those ideas sink in. Look, I'm not saying superheroes are more important than real life heroes, nor that their lessons can't be taught in some other way. But what I am saying is, while superheroes in comic books may be fiction, they changed my life for the better and helped me become the man I am today. And that's real enough for me.
I honestly couldn't agree more with all their wise words. More shows need to put more effort into being decent. They don't get a pass just because they're made for those that are younger than most people. That's why I want to try my hardest with this project I'm working on. And I want to make more heroes that can inspire, that can bring joy in a dark world. And I really hope that this project of mine works out. I could care less if I get famous from it, but I hope that people enjoy it. Anyways, thank you for listening to this video. Again, Mr. Shady Durags, Mr. Godzilla Mendoza. I will take down this video if you see issue with it. But thank you for your wise words on media for those who are young and on superheroes in general. I'm sure my friends will also agree with this video. Anyways, see you dudes in the next one. Bye.